Hi, folks, and welcome to our final episode of our Season 1 podcast, When I Became a Gator. I'm your host, Philip Chang, and our podcast focuses on the stories of various alumni around the country in the hopes of bringing closer the Gator Nation, one alumni at a time. Tonight, our special guest is Carrie Mitchell. She is the Director of Volunteer Engagement at the University of Florida Alumni Association. Carrie, so nice to have you on our show tonight.
Thank you so much, Philip. It is absolutely such an honor and a pleasure to be here with you tonight.
For our listeners, I work very closely with Carrie in doing events and programs for the Association of Asian Alumni. And we would just not be where we're at right now today without Carrie and her wonderful team. And tonight we're going to learn a little bit more about where she came from, what she studied, and when she became a Gator. Carrie, could you start us off by telling us a little bit about where you're from, what you studied?
Sure, absolutely. So I was actually born in Maryland. My father was in the Coast Guard, so we moved around a ton, and I lived most of my life in the state of Florida. So when it came time to make a pick to go to college, it was very, very easy to come back here. We were living in Virginia at the time, and it does not snow in Florida. So it made Gainesville a really easy pick. Mm-hmm. I also wanted to be a veterinarian, and the University of Florida's College of Veterinary Medicine is an excellent program. And we actually had the opportunity when I was, I think I was 13 years old. We were coming to Florida for vacation, and my mom arranged for us to visit and have a tour. And so just really was a great opportunity to have just that tiny bit of experience with the campus. So I applied back in high school when it was a lot easier to get into the University of Florida, certainly than it is today, and got accepted and came down. And I majored in animal sciences in the College of Agricultural and Life Sciences. But I didn't wind up going into veterinary medicine. Obviously, I wouldn't be where I am right now if I had. So I shifted gears a little bit, and my specialization when I graduated was actually meat and poultry safety and production. So was thinking of a career possibly in like a public kind of situation or something like that. But then got into development work. So
very cool. And was college and UF everything you expected it to be when you attended?
I had a little bit of an inkling of what to expect because I have a brother who's 5 years older than me. And so he went off to Florida State, that other school, exactly, which always makes it very contentious. Some of the texts fly during football season. But so I kind of had an idea of what to expect from his experience. And Gainesville is such a different town, and the University of Florida, I feel like, is such a different campus that I think that the experience that I had from my perspective is probably better than what my brother had in many ways. And in being in a college that the faculty care so much about the students and are so invested, I think made a really huge difference for me as well. So it was awesome. And I mean, to the point that I came back here. I love this university that much. Yeah.
And I'm wondering, since your brother's older than you and he went to FS State, what influenced you to choose a UF instead?
So mostly it was the veterinary school and that I wanted to pursue veterinary medicine. And I'm not a big fan of the color garnet. So orange and blue is much, much better. But seriously though, it was because I had wanted to pursue a career in veterinary medicine, and UF being having the vet school just made sense.
Yeah, for sure. And at what sort of time period in that whole process of before UF, during UF, or even after, did you feel like you became, or you were very, your connection with the Gator Nation was very strong, or the strongest?
So I was inundated with Florida State stuff because my brother went there. So he would, any Christmas presents and birthday presents and all that kind of stuff were shirts or notebooks and whatnot from Florida State. So when my dad and I came down for preview, the June, I think we came in June, maybe it was the beginning of July, before I started officially as a freshman, my dad, God bless him, made me walk this entire campus. We saw every single part of it. I was utterly unprepared for that. Wrong shoes. It was July, sweltering hot. But I got to see this gorgeous campus with live oaks everywhere and Spanish moss and ponds and just beautiful, picturesque place.
Mm-hmm.
And then after we did our very long walk in the morning, we stopped in to get my Gator One ID, and then we went to the bookstore. Mm-hmm. So still have that Gator One ID. I was not looking the freshest after a late June, early July day in the Florida sun. Yeah. But then we went to the bookstore, and I got my very first Florida Gator shirt, mm-hmm. Had to get kind of kitted out to be ready to go. Mm-hmm. Signed up for the football ticket lottery and all that kind of stuff. And that was really when it got very exciting and it felt very real. And this was going to be the place that I was going to spend the next 4 years of my life. Yeah. And I think too, one of the moments that really sticks in my head that I thought like, I'm going to actually be a college student was, in Preview, we stay in the dorms. And one of the people that I met at Preview, they had arranged for us all to go to the swamp and just have kind of a social or whatever. And we were walking back to the dorms, and this one person and I just hit it off really well. And we wound up sitting right out in front of Century Tower on the little low brick wall there and talking until like some god awful time, midnight or something like that. Because nobody was watching us because we were going to be college students. So, we had some autonomy, and it was just like, this is going to be what college is like. And it was such a cool experience. So that whole Preview really kind of got that orange and blue going and really kind of developed that love of the university.
Yeah, I definitely remember myself going to the bookstore and saying, this is official because I can buy a t-shirt. And I was majoring, my major at the time was Chinese. And so part of the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. And I remember there were specific shirts that you could get that said like College of this, College of that. And I was like, I can get this one because I'm a Chinese major. And it just felt so official, right? And I think I don't know where mine went. Sadly, it's probably in my parents' house in a drawer somewhere tucked away. Hopefully safe and sound, and not donated to Goodwill. That would be very sad.
Yeah, that would definitely be very sad. Well, I still have mine, and I have trudged it along in a variety of moves. And this little jewel right here will be 25 years old.
Wow.
Come this summer. And so just simple Florida Gator logo on the front, and then on the back it says, and I thought this was just perfect. It says, "Isn't life great?" with our Gator head, and it is literally full of holes and falling apart. And every time I clean out drawers, I think, oh man, I should really just, it's good for the rag bin. And then I think I can't possibly do that. This is my very first Gator shirt. So
you gotta keep it
never gets worn.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it forever. It stays in the drawer. It never gets worn. And I just take it out every now and again and look at it. And I'm glad that I've kept it. There's been many shirts that have come and gone. Yeah. But this one I've never let go.
Oh, I love that. I, through all of the student orgs that I used to do and all the shirts that we collected, it's kind of like, wow, I want to go back and see sort of the evolution of t-shirts, or let's take it and like recycle it and, make it like pillows or something else that can continue.
Or like a quilt, one of those shirt quilts. Yeah.
And so, we're going to, hopefully be in the top 5 public universities, knock on wood, and I hope in the next year or so. And being part of the Alumni Association, we are very much factored into that ranking and the stuff that we do. What are your hopes, for UF moving forward in the next year or even the next couple of years?
So certainly top 5 is definitely a goal that I am so hopeful that we reach and that we attain. And, it really is so important, the impact that the Alumni Association has, that our Gator clubs and our affiliate groups have in terms of really amplifying the message of the university within your communities, within your constituencies and your networks, and sharing the work that we do. I think that one of the things that I hope that we get much better at as a part of the process of getting into top 5 is really being able to share our story as a university. We have dominated so much in the athletic space. There's so much attention that's paid to our football and our basketball programs, and rightly so. They're amazing. And our baseball team and our soccer team, all of them, world class. But the work that gets done here, the research that touches people all around the world, the innovative solutions to problems that we come up with at this university are things that we don't do as good of a job of kind of tooting our own horn. And so I hope that a part of that rise to the top 5 is really being much more intentional about telling our story and really helping people who are outside of the Gator Nation, who don't necessarily have that strong tie to the university, to understand that the work that we're doing makes a huge difference in their day-to-day lives. So that's my hope for the university. And, just continuing to be that world-class academic institution. That's what I hope for us.
As you were saying that, it reminded me of, I think it was a commercial or some advertisement probably decades ago, but I remember someone, one of the voices kept saying, "Oh, for the greater good, right?
For the Gator good, yep.
For the Gator good, right?" And it just reminds me of how all the work that we do, as you said, yes, we have amazing sports teams, but everything else, right? Yeah. For the Gator good, and for the betterment of our community, for the state of Florida, the Southeast, the nation, and the world. So that's super exciting. As we wrap up, do you have any shout outs that you'd like to give to either places on campus that are really meaningful to you, or certain individuals that really made your experience as an undergrad or even as an employee right now at UF really amazing?
So the list of shout outs that I have could be a mile long, because there's so many folks that are so critical to where I am. But I think one of the key shout outs I have to give actually is to the person who hired me to come back to UF. And that's Joe Mandernock. He's now the Chief Development Officer in our College of Medicine. And so I was fortunate to meet him by virtue of my service in a Gator Club. Yeah. And that's what brought me back here. And so without him, I wouldn't be sitting in this seat today. And I have to give a shout out, frankly, to all of our volunteers, to folks like you, Philip, who are doing incredible and amazing work of sharing the university in your community and with your constituents, and truly trying to bring alumni closer, one alumni at a time. The work that you all do is incredible, and it is my great privilege to be able to work with all of our volunteers and to support the clubs and affiliate groups in the work that they're doing.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure speaking to you tonight. Thank you so much for sharing your story, your t-shirt. Keep it safe in that drawer.
Not going anywhere.
For sure. Thank you, listeners. If you'd like to be on our show, please email us at ufasianalumni@gmail.com or reach out to us on social media. Have a great night and go Gators.